The sun burned hot over the empty desert. Sand stretched in every direction. The ground looked dead. There were no birds, no trees, no rivers, only dry, silent land. In the middle of this emptiness stood a small human outpost. It was not much, just a few metal buildings and a landing pad. And guarding it were small robots, no bigger than a child's toy. The Dracnar aliens arrived with their great army. Their ships landed with loud thunder. Dust filled the air. Soldiers with sharp armor and laser guns stepped onto the sand. Their leader, Commander Vortak, looked around with a proud smile. "So this is human defense," Vortak said, laughing. "They send toys to fight real warriors?" The other aliens laughed too. They pointed at the small robots. Some were carrying tiny guns. Some were just standing still like statues. None of them looked dangerous. One alien soldier stepped forward and kicked a robot over. It fell on its back and twitched helplessly. Everyone laughed louder. Another soldier shot a robot with his laser. The small machine exploded into pieces. "They are nothing," shouted one alien. "They are like bugs." Commander Vortak raised his gun and shot 3 robots himself. "This is not a war," he said. "This is a joke." The aliens celebrated, thinking the battle was already won. They moved closer to the outpost, smashing and shooting every toy-sized robot they saw. Some aliens even picked up pieces of the robots as souvenirs. But then something strange happened. One small robot, badly damaged, still moved. Its lights blinked red. It crawled across the ground like it was trying to escape. But it wasn't running away. It was heading toward a metal pole stuck in the sand. The robot reached the pole and pressed its tiny hand against it. A soft hum filled the air. The ground under the aliens' feet vibrated, just a little, so small that most of them didn't notice. Commander Vortak frowned. "What was that?" "Nothing," said another soldier. "Just the weak ground of this planet." But the small robot kept pressing against the pole. Its lights blinked faster now. Under the sand, something began to wake up. A few aliens felt the ground shiver again, this time a little stronger. One soldier looked at the others nervously. "Maybe we should scan the area." Vortak laughed again. "For what? More toys?" He shot the small robot one last time. It stopped moving. Its lights went out. Silence returned to the desert. The aliens continued their march. They didn't notice the soft rumble growing under the surface. They didn't see the way the sand near the pole started to crack. They didn't hear the low, deep sound coming from underground. They were too busy laughing. Inside their ships, the alien sensors beeped quietly. A warning message flashed. Unknown energy detected below surface. But no one was paying attention. Commander Vortak climbed a small hill of sand to look at the human outpost better. He raised his arm high and shouted, "Today we crush the humans. Tomorrow we take their planets." The alien army roared in reply. Behind them, near the metal pole, the ground suddenly burst open, just a small crack. From that crack, a strange mechanical glow started to rise. Red lights, sharp metal edges, moving shapes. But the aliens didn't see it yet. Vortak turned to his soldiers. "Gather the pieces of these toys," he ordered. "Let's bring them back as trophies." The alien soldiers laughed again and ran forward. They were eager to collect their prizes. They thought the battle was over before it even began. They were wrong. Deep below, ancient machines, hidden for years, were waking up. They were not toys. They were part of something much bigger. Something made to protect humanity's last hope. The desert was no longer dead. It was alive, and it was angry. As the first alien reached out to pick up a broken robot part, the ground beneath him cracked wide open. He screamed as he fell into the darkness below. The laughter stopped. Commander Vortak stared in shock as something huge, something metallic, began to crawl out of the hole. A low voice echoed across the desert. "Protocol, human fury, activated." The real battle had just begun. The desert exploded with noise. From the crack in the ground, giant machines climbed out. They looked like monsters made of metal. Sharp claws, glowing red eyes, thick armor that no laser could break. Their bodies hummed with power. The first alien soldier screamed, but it was too late. One metal claw grabbed him and threw him high into the air like he weighed nothing. His body crashed down far away, broken and still. Commander Vortak stared with wide eyes. What is this?" he shouted. The alien soldiers froze in fear. Their weapons, powerful against small robots, looked useless against these giant war machines. The machines kept coming. 5, 10, 20 of them. Some rolled forward on heavy treads. Others marched with huge metal legs, shaking the ground with every step. They moved fast, too fast for their size. And then came the sound. A low, deep sound that made the sand dance. A sound like 1,000 drums beating together. It wasn't just noise. It was a message. Human fury had awakened. Commander Vortak tried to act strong. He raised his weapon and shouted, "Fire! Destroy them!" The alien soldiers opened fire. Beams of blue and green light shot across the desert. Explosions lit up the sand. Smoke rose into the hot sky. But when the smoke cleared, the machines were still there, barely scratched. One machine, a massive one with 6 legs and a spinning cannon, returned fire. Its weapon made no sound, only a flash of white light. Where it hit, alien soldiers simply disappeared. No body, no armor, nothing left, just a black mark on the ground. Panic spread through the alien ranks. Soldiers dropped their guns and ran. Some tried to get back to the ships. Some tried to hide behind dunes. But there was nowhere to run. The machines didn't chase them like wild animals. No, they moved with purpose. They destroyed the alien ships first, cutting off their escape. Engines exploded. Ships melted into burning piles of metal. Commander Vortak's second in command, a tall alien named Kryn, grabbed Vortak's arm. "Commander, we must retreat," Kryn yelled. Vortak shook his head. His pride was too strong. "We do not run from toys." Kryn pointed at the battlefield. "These are not toys. This is a human trap. A trap built for us." Another machine stomped forward, its armor shining under the desert sun. On its chest was a symbol, a human fist ripping a lightning bolt. Underneath, words in Old Earth language, "Vengeance Division." Commander Vortak finally understood. These robots were not here to protect the outpost. They were here to punish anyone who dared to attack it. And now they had awoken. The desert was no longer silent. It roared with the fury of machines built for war. Vortak screamed at his soldiers, "Regroup, fall back to defensive line." But there was no time. Another wave of machines rose from the sand, these ones smaller, faster, with blades spinning on their arms. They slashed through alien ranks like farmers cutting wheat. Blood and oil mixed into the sand. The aliens had laughed at the small robots. They had mocked the toy-sized army. But now they faced the real strength of humanity, cold, ruthless, unstoppable. Kryn pulled Vortak down behind a broken piece of ship. "We need help," Kryn said. "We must call the fleet." Vortak nodded quickly, all his pride gone. He activated his comm device. "This is Commander Vortak. Emergency request. Send reinforcements. Send everything." Only static answered. Vortak tried again. "This is Vortak. We are under attack by unknown human weapons." Still no answer. Above them, the sky flickered. A giant human warship uncloaked, a ship so large it looked like a floating city. Its shadow covered the desert. Its cannons pointed down like angry eyes. A voice, calm and cold, came from the ship speakers. "Alien forces, you have violated human territory. Surrender now or be destroyed." The alien soldiers looked at each other in horror. Surrender? To humans? It was unthinkable. But the machines kept advancing. and the sky was full of human power. Vortak dropped his weapon. For the first time in his life, Commander Vortak felt true fear. And somewhere deep inside he knew. This was only the beginning. The desert battlefield was silent for a moment. Only the sound of the machine's heavy steps filled the air. Commander Vortak sat frozen behind the broken metal. His hands shook. His mind raced. They had never lost a battle before. Never. But now everything was falling apart. The giant human warship above them moved slowly, its shadow swallowing the battlefield. The human voice spoke again, clear and cold. "You have 60 seconds to surrender." The aliens looked up, fear in their eyes. 60 seconds. Not enough time to run. Not enough time to hide. Kryn grabbed Vortak by the shoulder. "Commander, if we fight, we die. If we surrender, maybe we live." Vortak clenched his fists. His pride burned inside him like fire. Surrender? Never. But then another machine stomped forward. It carried something, the body of an alien officer, armor crushed like paper. It threw the body down at Vortak's feet. A warning. Vortak stood up, his voice breaking. "All forces, lay down your weapons," he shouted. "Lay down your weapons and raise your hands." The alien soldiers obeyed, one by one. Guns dropped onto the sand. Hands rose into the air. The human machines stopped moving. A group of smaller robots marched forward. They had no weapons in their hands, but they carried strong magnetic cuffs. Quickly, silently, they began to bind the alien prisoners. Vortak and Kryn were forced to their knees. Kryn whispered, "At least we are alive." But Vortak knew better. This wasn't mercy. This was a message. Humans wanted the galaxy to see what happened to those who mocked them. A shadow moved above them. A door opened at the bottom of the human warship. A figure walked out, stepping onto the sand. It was a human. Not in heavy armor, not in a tank. Just a simple man wearing a black uniform with a silver badge that showed a clenched fist. He walked slowly, confidently, hands behind his back. His voice carried across the desert. "You thought humanity was weak," he said. "You thought we were easy prey." He stopped in front of Vortak, looking down at him. His eyes were cold like the empty space between stars. "But you forgot one thing," the man said. "We don't forgive." He nodded once. At his signal, the war machines roared back to life. Not to kill the prisoners, but to destroy everything the aliens had built here. The alien tanks were crushed into scrap. The ships were turned into smoking wrecks. The alien flags were torn down and burned. In minutes, everything the aliens had brought to this planet was gone, wiped clean like dust from a table. Only the prisoners remained, kneeling in the sand under the burning sun. Vortak watched it all, helpless. His great army, his mighty weapons, his proud name, all destroyed by what he had once called toys. Tears filled his eyes, but he blinked them away. He would not give the humans the satisfaction of seeing him weep. The human commander turned to his officers and spoke. "Prepare them for transport. Send them to the penal colonies." Penal colonies. Vortak knew the word. It meant a living death, endless labor, endless punishment, far from any chance of rescue. The human officer looked back one last time. "You laughed at us," he said. "Now the galaxy will laugh at you." The prisoners were marched away, their heads low, their dreams broken. The desert wind blew over the battlefield, carrying away the last signs of the alien army. Above, the human warship turned and disappeared into the blue sky, leaving behind only fear and a message that would echo across the stars. Never mock humanity. News of the defeat spread fast. Within hours, every corner of the galaxy was whispering the same thing. The toy-sized army destroyed them. Humans unleashed something terrifying. On planet Arvok, home of the High Council of the Unified Races, leaders from 50 alien species gathered in panic. The council chamber buzzed with arguments. Screens showed footage taken by a hidden alien drone. Machines rising from the desert, alien troops running, human warships blocking the sky. They crushed Vortac's entire force in minutes. One council member shouted, "We saw them surrender. That has never happened before." Another leader, tall and lizard-like, hissed, "We believed humans were weak, foolish. They just lived quietly on their small blue planet." "But now," said a cold, metallic voice from a robotic species, "we know they were hiding their real power all along." The room fell silent. In the corner, a cloaked figure stood, an old warrior, long retired. His name was Rathuan, once the leader of a great fleet, now just a quiet observer. He spoke slowly. "I warned you many years ago. Never push humans too far." One young council member laughed nervously. "They were peaceful. They shared technology. They asked for trade. Why would they build machines like that?" Rathuan's eyes narrowed. "Because they remember everything. Every insult. Every betrayal. Every time we laughed at them. And now they're ready to remind us who they truly are." The council chamber grew cold. Back on Earth, in a hidden base deep under the oceans, humans were watching too. A woman in a white uniform stood before a large screen. Her name was Commander Ilara Stone, leader of Project Vengeance. She smiled as reports came in. 72 alien worlds have now placed Earth on high threat alert, her assistant said. 13 have canceled trade. 5 are calling for peace talks. Ilara nodded. "Good. Let them feel the fear." She turned to a table full of small robots, the original toys, the ones the aliens had mocked. "Prepare them for Phase 2, she ordered. "It's time they learn. We never stopped watching." Meanwhile, in the dark corners of the galaxy, others were watching too. Not with fear, but with interest. Pirate lords, warlords, black market dealers, all curious about the true power of humans. Some wanted to fight them. Others wanted to use them. And one in particular smiled as he read the report. His name was Goran Klix, a monster in many. He ruled 3 systems with fire and fear. "Finally," he growled, "something worth hunting." He tapped the screen showing Earth's hidden weapon systems. "Let's see if these humans can stop me." He ordered his best ships to prepare for war. But even he didn't know, the humans were already watching him. Far away, in the penal colonies where Vortac and his army were held, the prisoners sat in silence. No one spoke. No one dared. They were worked to the bone. Heavy chains, harsh punishments, and worst of all, the guards were not even human. They were machines, quiet, cold, and always watching. Vortac stared at the stars from his tiny cell. He whispered, "We should have listened. We should have never mocked them." Kryn from the cell beside him replied softly, "Now the whole galaxy is afraid, and it's only the beginning." Vortac nodded slowly. He had once laughed at human weakness. Now he feared their silence more than anything. Above Earth, in orbit, hundreds of machines waited, sleeping, silent, invisible. When the next enemy arrived, they wouldn't ask questions. They wouldn't warn. They would simply destroy. Because humans had learned long ago, if you want peace, prepare for war. The stars were quiet. Too quiet. Across the galaxy, alien leaders held secret meetings. Their fleets stayed close to home. No one dared to attack Earth again. Not after what they saw. Not after what happened to Vortac's army. But still, some believed they could challenge humanity. One of them was Goran Klix, the warlord of the Outer Rings. He had never lost a battle. His ships were faster than lightning. His army was brutal. He believed fear was the only power that mattered. "They are still just humans," he growled. "I will crush them, and the galaxy will follow me." He didn't wait for permission. His fleet of 30 warships jumped into Earth's orbit without warning. His soldiers laughed, waiting for the humans to beg. But Earth was ready. The moment the ships appeared, something strange happened. Goran's scanners showed nothing. No warships, No defense, only silence. He laughed. Cowards, come out. Then the stars behind his ships blinked. One by one. Not stars, eyes. Hundreds of cloaked human war machines surrounded him. Each one carried weapons that didn't even have names in alien languages. Weapons designed for one thing only: pure, silent destruction. One message came through. Last warning. Leave now or vanish forever. Goran's pride burned inside him. I do not fear ghosts, he shouted. He opened fire. His ship sent a storm of plasma, missiles, and death. The space around Earth lit up like a star-going nova. And then, it ended. Not for Earth, but for Goran's fleet. Within 18 seconds, all 30 of his ships were gone. Not broken, not burning. Gone. No parts, no signals, just erased. The galaxy watched the footage in silence. No one laughed this time. On a neutral space station weeks later, the council gathered again. But this time, no one argued. No one spoke loudly. A new representative from Earth walked in. He wore no weapons, no armor, just a dark suit with a silver badge, a clenched fist, just like before. He placed a small toy on the table, one of the tiny walking machines that had defeated Vortak's army. It took 3 slow steps and beeped. Then the human spoke. We asked for peace. You mocked us. You tried to break us. You called our defense toys. He paused, letting the silence grow. But we are not here for revenge. Not anymore. We are here to teach you what happens when you forget one truth. He pointed at the toy. Humans may look small, but never, ever mistake small for weak. Then he turned and walked away. The council sat frozen. No one moved. The toy beeped once more, then powered down. Back on Earth, Commander Elara stood before a room of new cadets. You will not wear medals, she said. You will not be known by name. You will be shadows, protectors. A cadet raised his hand. Ma'am, what if the galaxy attacks again? She smiled, a quiet, confident smile. They won't, she said. Why? The cadet asked. She turned to the window, looking out into space. Because now, they finally believe the stories, and they fear what we truly are. In the darkest corners of the galaxy, smugglers, pirates, and rulers now whispered in low voices. Don't go near Earth. Don't wake the sleeping giants. Don't mock the toys, unless you want to see real fury. In the end, the lesson was clear. Underestimating humanity wasn't just a mistake. It was the last mistake anyone would ever make.